Hey everybody, today we're at glorious Bondurant for our high school looking for some cars who are crossing the line. Alright, first car over the line today. You know, I think this person had limited brain cells when it comes to parking. You guys know that song that goes, merrily we fall out of line. Merrily we fall over the line. Look at this Fusion. Come around here, come on. This Fusion fused with this. Well, since most of you guys parked pretty good yesterday, we're gonna have to go day 2 and, oh, right away, starting off with a bang. This car isn't even in a spot. What is this? What? Hey! Oh, you know, I get this is a small car, but we could fit like a whole nother car in all this space. Car review time. Well, my first thought is that this seat is up way too far, and I can barely even fit my legs in it. Horn's okay, maybe like a 4 out of 10. My horn's a lot better. Mr. Duffy, I understand that you used to teach history, but you don't need to drive history. LeSabre rolled the dice on what he could get away with. Whoever was in there got out.
On this episode of The Rant, we check out some aquatic blue jays, chat with a cellist, take in jazz night, hit up the color guard clinic, and attend large group speech showcase.
Hello Blue Jays, I'm Jane Johnson.
And I'm Libby Huff. Welcome back to another episode of The Rant. Up first, we bring you the story of freshman Pearson Booker, who is truly one of a kind.
The BFHS band has recently added a new member who has brought along a new sound. Freshman Pearson Booker, who moved here this year from Kansas, plays the cello. Coming from a school where he played in an orchestra, this experience is unlike anything that Pearson has ever played alongside with, since he plays with brass and wind instruments. He has been playing his cello since 7th grade. Pearson was inspired by his sister who also plays the same instrument. He thought that it was incredible, so he started to learn how to play.
I like the cello because there's lots of strings and there's a whole bunch of different notes you can do, so even if just the top one's here, there's a whole bunch of variation to it. And even just like on the A string you have here, you play, you have one, and then just a little bit down and you have a different one. You can also play it with the bow. I don't have the bow with me, but with that you can make some different sounds with it. So you could skip it lightly across it and you touch it and you get a sound, or you could hold it across it and you get a nice consistent sound.
The counselors were very kind in helping Pearson. Mr. Whipperman has been working with Pearson for a couple of weeks to try and help him get used to the new environment. He has been helping him with lessons and trying to accommodate by finding music that has cello parts or cello solos in it.
So when I was coming here and we were talking to the counselor over the phone about all our classes, I mentioned that I was in the orchestra at my middle school, and she said that it was pretty cool that I was in there, but we didn't have one over here. And she hit up Mr. Whipperman, and a couple days later he said, oh yeah, we'll be happy to accommodate you, and I thought it was super cool.
This has been Allie Candigator reporting for The Rant.
Sticking with the music theme, Georgia Steeples bring you highlights and snappy tunes from Jazz Night.
On January 25th, the Bondurant for our school district held Jazz Night.
Almost like being in love.
Both jazz band and choir have been working for months to practice songs. While the choir practices after school, both bands rehearse 2 days a week at 7 a.m.
This is the first time we've been able to do a joint jazz band and jazz choir concert in January. It was a lot of fun. A couple people who are participating in both groups, some people on their second, third, or fourth instrument. This year was particularly challenging because with all the way all the snow days lined up, one of the jazz bands was only able to have 2 rehearsals in the entire month leading up to the concert. Regardless, it was a great show and we had a lot of fun preparing it. It was also a lot of fun to have both Mrs. Cassidy sitting in on saxophone and Mrs. Kaufman sitting in on saxophone. That's the first time she's played with us in her time here at Rant for R, and it was just a lot of fun to have her here with us.
This year had so many students who wanted to participate. They had to have 2 jazz bands. Students who have learned a second instrument have a chance to put their skills to use in multiple performances. All jazz groups perform at the variety show, getting another chance to perfect their tunes. Both band and choir offer the chance to give students solos in both songs. This has been Georgia Steeples reporting for The Rant.
Chugging right along on the Fine Arts train, we sent Lily Harper on the recent Color Guard Clinic.
Color Guard performs with the marching band, but did you know they host a camp to convince 8th graders to join their freshman year?
In addition to 8th graders, both high schoolers and returning members are allowed to participate in the clinic. Mindy Van Gundy volunteers outside of her full-time job to help coach the Rant for our Color Guard team.
They experience what it's like during practice and learning how to do these moves and what it's like to do a routine. It also gives them an opportunity to get in front of a whole audience and have that sense of accomplishment of being able to do something that not a lot of people do. And it just gives a good sense of what Color Guard could be, even though it's not with the whole band. But it's a way to try it out, see if it's something that someone likes to do. Because let's face it, you don't usually know if you really like something until you actually try it.
The clinic helps students get a feel for what it would be like to perform in Color Guard so they can figure out if they want to join their freshman year. During practice, students learn basic moves and an entire routine. In recent years, this has been the most students that have volunteered at the clinic, with a total of 19 participants.
This has been Lily Harper reporting for The Rant.
Rant for R has a strong history in extracurricular speech. Recently, the latest collection of students were able to showcase their acts, and Charlie Smith was on hand to capture it all.
Students in large group speech have been given the chance to perform at home before moving on to the state competition. Saturday, the 27th, there was a showcase for anyone to come watch the groups perform. There were teams performing choral reading, ensemble acting, improv, mime, and many more. 10 out of the 13 total groups performed at the showcase, and many of those groups made it to state. Ms. Vasey gives us her take on how this year's speech season is going.
Our speech season has been pretty crazy with all of the cancellations from weather, but our kids have been doing a super great job. When we went to districts, we took 13 groups, and 8 of them are moving on to state, and they've been working super hard and have been doing a fantastic job.
The state speech competition occurred on February 3rd, last Saturday. They left around 7:45 on the bus to head straight to Ankeny Centennial, the first group going at 8:45. A few students were even able to go to state for 2 different categories, one of those students being Isabel Edge.
So this year for large group, I'm doing ensemble acting and musical theater, and they've both been really fun. I especially like my ensemble acting because we get to be like really dramatic with it, and we get to incorporate some like Shakespeare, so it's been really fun.
One group will be going to All State on the 17th. That group's category, Radio News. The team consisted of Libby Huff, Alexia DeBoard, Theo Magnou, and Robin Engelbrecht. This has been Charlie Smith reporting for The Rant.
Last episode, we brought you the story of 2 Blue Jay wrestlers competing for Ankeny. This time, I talked with 2 BFHS students swimming at Southeast Polk. We have 3 students who enjoy swimming at Southeast Polk. Let's dive into their extracurricular activity. Davin Butler, Alex Hammond, and Caden Schroeder have been doing this sport for years. Davin started in 6th grade, and Alex started when he was a little kid.
I started all the way back when I lived in Marshalltown, so it was a good while ago. I started swimming for the Y. I started swimming here around end of 8th grade, and I started here pretty nervous because Davin, which was the only person I know who went here, but now, 2 years later, I can say that I like this place a lot more than all the other clubs I've went to. The practices are obviously a lot harder now that I'm a sophomore, but that's just what I expect. But I can say that this sport, without doubt in my mind, is the hardest and the most complicated one I've done so far.
Davin even showed me a tempo trainer. This is something that helps them pace their laps and beeps every 1.4 seconds. They also do things like imagining themselves winning competitions. They practice for about an hour and a half, and they do drills that help with their overall performance.
I have been swimming competitively since 6th grade with a couple friends and a couple cousins. They were really the ones that got me into swimming. They kind of introduced me to the sport. When I started, I really enjoyed it, and I just kept going with it until I hit junior high, which starts in 7th grade, and then swim 2 years through that, and then 2 years in high school. This is my 2nd year.
This weekend, Alex, Davin, and Caden had a competition, and all 3 dropped times in each race they competed in. Davin and Alex also made it into the all-time top 20 for Southeast Polk. They have a great bond with their teammates, and they thoroughly enjoy this sport. This has been Jane Johnson reporting for The Rant. Thanks for watching our show.
Follow us on all our socials at Blue Jay Digital for all the latest updates. Peace
out.